I'm going to do a couple problems here from infinite integrals. The first one here for this video is number 12 from 3.7. And it says, find the volume of the solid generated by revolving about the y-axis, the region under the curve y equals 3e to the negative 2x in the first quadrant. If the answer does not exist, which it does, enter D and E, otherwise round to 4 decimal places. So we basically have a shape like this. And let me change colors. This is, you can draw it down on Desmos or on your graphic calculator, but it comes down across this here and goes down. It never quite touches the x-axis. Crosses here at 3. But it never quite touches the x-axis. It gets infinitely close, but never touches it. And so when we're doing this, we're looking for, so our integration is going to be from 0 to infinity. The way I set this up is I went with the shell method, because we have this height here, that's our p of x, or h of x, whatever, and then we have our r of x is just x. So I came up with the formula. The volume is going to be 2 pi times the integral from 0 to infinity of x times 3e to the negative 2x dx. And my point in that was, because the formula is volume is 2 pi integral from a to b of with r of x times h of x or p of x, however we say that, h of x dx. So there's my setup. Now what we have to do is, because of this infinity, we have to say the limit as b goes to infinity of integral from 0 to b of, I forgot my 2 pi, of x times 3e to the negative 2x dx. And so this really isn't bad. I mean, just pulling that 2 pi out. 2 pi times the limit as b goes to infinity of, and this integrates. You can use the integration by parts, where the x goes away and then 3e to the negative 2x doesn't. So anyway, you end up with negative 3/4 e to the negative 2x times 2x plus 1. We integrate that from 0 to b. So we have 2 pi times, and I'm sure someone's going to get in the comments and say some of my notation might be off a little bit, but this is how I'm doing it. 2 pi times the limit as b goes to infinity of negative 3/4 e the negative 2 times b times 2b plus 1 minus negative 3/4 e to the negative 2 times 0 times quantity 2 times 0 plus 1. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. So we have 2 pi times the limit as b goes to infinity of negative 3/4 e to the negative 2b, resisting the joke right there, obvious joke, times 2b plus 1 plus 3/4 e to the, now so negative 2 times 0, 0, so that's just going to be 1 times 1. 2 times 0 plus 1 is 1. Now this part here is the interesting part, because what we're looking at, we have this 2 pi times limit as b goes to infinity of this negative 3/4 times, you can think of this as 2b plus 1 over e to the 2b. And if you were to do like L'Hopital's rule, the numerator it grows slower than the denominator. So the infinity in the denominator outpaces the infinity in the numerator. Plus 3/4. Okay. And in essence, then this goes to 0. And so what we're left with is 2 pi times 0 plus 3/4, which is, there's my handy dandy calculator, 4.712388898. Now, I noticed someone did it the other way, and they solved for x, and so they could do, instead of doing a parallel rectangle, they did a horizontal one, or a perpendicular one, excuse me. And you can do that, but just make sure you do that correctly. But this is my approach to this problem. Okay, hope that helps.